Lagos. Welcome to the Evening Rush 90.3 Voice of the People FM. That's where you are. Amazing evening it is. Of course, it's always a delight to be with you every day. Remember, we do this Monday to Friday, 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. My name is Precious Enyi. Welcome to the Evening Rush. And on the Evening Rush this evening, on the hot topic, we are looking at the new Naira notes and the extension of the old Naira notes. And also, why do we have so much scarcity of the new Naira note? What is happening? Are the banks complicit? Is there something fishy smelling somewhere? What could be the problem? Why do we have some people have it so much? In large amount, and then some people have not even seen it at all. What is happening? Of course, we're talking also, we'll also look at the President Buhari approving the extension of the old note swap to February 10th. That is giving it 10 days, elongating, extending the collection of the old Naira notes to 10 days. These and more would inform our discussion today. Then on the softer note, on the easier note, a step down discussion this evening at 8 o'clock will be about Ponzi schemes and all the schemes that you lose your money to. How do you know stuffs that are Ponzi? What do you do? Have you been guilty? Have you fallen prey for those schemes before? Would like to hear from you. Lagos, this is the Evening Rush 90.3 Voice of the People FM again. My name is Precious. Juliet will be joining me very soon. We're being produced by Promise, and we'll be right back to bring you details of the conversation. Stay with us.
For here, put on for in neck. Bonam, yes, I no go find better work do. Now Yahoo they go do. Bonam, stop! That person where you won't born, if it dey innocent, no go carry person blood put for your head. Jungle justice no good at all. Stop am.
You will light the fire. You not get hurt. Say no to jungle justice.
You uncle, we follow for the crowd. They look where then they born person. You no stop them. If they do you like film, abi? Your hands self no clean. No. You fit enter gbege. Stop the lynching. Stop jungle justice.
Under the criminal law for Lagos State, person we start jungle justice, those we support them and those we just don't look, all of them fit rot for jail. My name na Benjamin Hundeyin, Lagos State Police talk person. Stop jungle justice.
This message now from Lagos State Police Command
and VOP 90.3 FM.
Hello, this is your good radio pal, Citizen Jones Hussein, with the Voice of the People VOP Radio 90.3 on your dial. I'll be sharing 2 solid hours of compact radio with you. Join me, Citizen Jones, every Saturday morning, 7 to 8 a.m. on newspaper headliners and 8 to 9 on Citizen Jones this morning. Keep the date, Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9.
Successful business, or are you struggling in your business? Listen to Business Launchpad with Peter Anosike, Nigeria's #1 finance book author, every Saturday by 10:30 a.m. on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Business Launchpad, the keys to building successful businesses.
The Evening Rush with Pressures, featuring sound and informed guests across various sectors to discuss matters arising on Hot Topic Part.
What was the rate of inflation, and then what was the exchange rate?
Intense conversations, critical analysis.
What is wrong with us 200 million people? We can't even give ourselves.
We sometimes disagree.
When we say our GDP is not an oil dominated,
to agree.
I saw that.
On Hot Topic Pali, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3 Voice of the People FM, Lagos. Now you have a voice. viewers, welcome back. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM, and it is Evening Rush. So the President, Muhammadu Buhari, has approved a 10-day extension for the Nigerians, or for Nigerians rather, to swap their old 1,000 naira, 500 naira, 200 naira notes for the new ones.
Precious.
Right? Wait now.
Put me on it.
Calm down.
Did you please, did you see that it was June 31? No,
let's get to that discussion. Why are you jumping the gun? Why are you jumping the gun? Just calm down.
I mean, who was the person that wrote that?
Calm down, babe. Calm down. We're coming to that discussion. We're coming to that discussion. So let me just lay a preamble to this discussion so the Nigerians will understand this proper. So the Central Bank Governor of Nigeria, Governor Godwin Emefiele, spoke with reporters after a meeting with the President Muhammadu Buhari in his hometown in Daura. So that's to say that this extension, we heard it in Daura, right? He said banks will continue to give out the new notes in exchange for the old ones till February 10, 2023. The CBN governor, who visited the president from around them, like 11 a.m., also said from February 10, Nigerians will have the grace of visiting the CBN to deposit their old notes for new ones for another 7 days, which ends on February 17th. So if you ask me, they've been lenient. So from the banks, it stops on the 10th. Then you have to go to CBN Gongo to go and exchange it from 10th to 17th. So I think that the CBN has been fair. So we have today, according to his words, now this is quoting the CBN governor. He said, "We have today sought and obtained Mr. President's approval for the following: one, a 10-day extension of the deadline from January 31, 2023 to February 10, 2023 to allow for collection of more old notes legitimately held by Nigerians and achieve more success in cash swap in rural areas in our villages and communities, after which old notes outside the CBN lose their legal tender status." Now, our CBN staff currently on MERS mobilization and monitoring, together with officials of the EFCC and ICPC, will work together to achieve these objectives in coming days. He further says, two, a 7-day grace period beginning on I almost said beginning. Oh, goodness. Okay. So beginning on February 10 to February 17, 2023, in compliance with the Section 20, subsection 3 and Section 22 of the CBN Act, allowing Nigerians to deposit their old notes at the CBN after the February deadline, when the old currency would have lost its legal tender status. Now, we therefore appeal to all Nigerians to work with the Central Bank of Nigeria to achieve a heat-free process for the implementation of this very important program, he said. According to him, 75% of the 2.7 trillion held outside the banking system has been recovered. I am coming to that conversation because it's very important that we know. He said, "We are happy that so far the exercise has achieved a successful rate of about 75% of the 2.7 trillion held outside the banking system. Nigerians in the rural areas, villages, the aged and vulnerable have had the opportunity to swap their old notes, leveraging the agent's Naira swap initiatives, as well as the CBN senior staff nationwide citizenship team exercise. Also, from those holding illicit stolen Naira in their homes for speculative purposes, we do aim to give all Nigerians that have Naira legitimately and trapped the opportunity to deposit their legitimate trapped monies at the CBN for exchange."
Let me ask you a question. How do you know Naira that has been legitimately earned and the one that is not legitimately
and the one that is trapped?
Is he written on it?
And the one that is a trap that's my problem. Like something to choke him. Like something to choke the Naira. When you say traps.
So how do we decipher the one that is legitimately earned and the one that's illegitimately earned?
So it's even this thing that is my concern, sir.
Which one?
How do you say Naira that is trapped? How do you get your Naira trapped?
I don't know.
How do you get your Naira trapped?
Trapped Naira.
All right, so that is it. So you would recall that one of the reasons why CBN has been worried about this policy is because CBN had complained that out of over 3.7 trillion Naira that's the country printed, that CBN printed, about 2.7 of that money, 2.7 trillion of that money has been outside the banking vault. Doing what? that is not within the banking system, and all of this is what is putting so much pressure against the Naira.
Where is it?
So I don't know. Probably those buried around the cemeteries, in the soccerways, inside your water tanks, and all of this. I don't want to.
You don't want to do.
I'm not going with you. So the good news now is that CBN has graciously said that, well, this directive has been so successful that they've so far retrieved about 1.9 trillion naira, making it about 75% of the 2.7 trillion that has been outside banking system. People have been paying in money. because of panic, people have been coming to deposit money. Whether you deposit it together as an individual or you're going through someone else to deposit it, it's maybe you can give your family, drivers, uncle, auntie to come and deposit. It doesn't matter. So you can split the money. You know, these people can be wise, right? So they have a way of splitting the money and ensuring. But the important thing is that this money is deposited, because when they're not within a system that can be controlled by the CBN, that's what puts pressure on the Naira, and that's what we have. You know, I don't want to say that. That's what we're facing, economic crisis. So it's a good thing that, you know, the system or the monetary policy is yielding some sort of productive result. And
that is to say, you're supporting what Emefiele is doing.
Don't support it until Shebi. I told you before, if I talk now, you know the price of pasta. Pasta moved from 80 naira to 500 naira, and you said I should not support. Leave me alone with my pasta. All right, Lagos. So now, in a swift reaction, you'll also know that the Central Bank of Nigeria said it recovered 1.9 trillion naira worth of currency in 2 months since this policy started, from December to January precisely, off the banking system, following its Naira notes resign and cash swap policy. You understand? So it was disclosed by the CBN governor, of course, on Sunday when he went to visit the president. And so, as we said, it is a very, very good news.
He went to Daura.
He went to Daura to visit the president to seek for the extension of the Naira, you know, the old Naira collection.
He had to go to Daura.
So he had to go to Daura because the president was in Daura, in his village, to spend the weekend. So you had to go and meet him in his village while he's there. Why is he alien to you? So moving on, Nigeria. So this is where the discussion is right now. We're excited that this extension has happened, right? However, how do we access these new Naira notes becomes another issue. We've had situations where we see Nigerians, you know, gather these new Naira notes in large quantity. For what purpose, we do not know.
Some people are selling it. People are making money now.
Yes.
So I know somebody who is selling 3,000 new Naira notes for 5,000.
I don't understand.
Yeah. I will sell to you. So give me 5,000 old Naira notes. I'll give you 3,000
new Naira notes. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? So you see, that's actually what our concern is, and that's what our discussion is going to be this evening. Where do we go from here? What is happening? How come the banks are saying that they do not have these new Naira notes? But then we now see some Nigerians from some quarters have these new Naira notes in large quantity. Remember that the reason why CBN is saying that they had to do this is to ensure that our monies remain within the banking system. That is to say that if you have 500,000 naira in your house resting and you pay that money into the CBN does not expect you to collect back 500 naira new Naira notes. No, it expects you to take at least 50 or 20,000 naira new Naira notes, keep the rest in the bank. When you need it, you go back again and collect.
The whole idea is that they want to take money, all the money back
into the banking system. So you'll be taking small and collecting small. So I think what Nigerians are mean by we can't get the new Naira notes, we can't get the new Naira notes.
They can't
you go to the bank,
much.
God bless you. You go to the bank, you place, you put 1 million naira of the old Naira notes and expect bank give me back.
Back 1 million.
That's what they're calling it swap. That's what they're calling Naira swap. Because they're not giving them back in that because they can't give you back, and that's not what. That's why it is.
Is a win for CBN right now because people are now banking. There's nothing like unbanked anymore. Everybody's putting money in the bank.
Well, why I agree with the fact that yes, this would be a win because people would not bank. But again, I'm sorry, I'd have to fault the CBN a bit in this because I feel like they started the sensitization for this very, very, very late. Because the sensitization for this within the rural areas only started this January. I mean, to the best
in its defense, the CBN governor was saying something about them deploying so many people.
When did they deploy them? When did they? At what time? That's exactly what I'm saying. At what point did they deploy them? Because as far as I know, as at October last year, when they announced the need for the change of money and all that, they have not started deploying people to the villages.
Yes.
It didn't start on time. The awareness was poor. Yeah, it was. That's what the concern is. So the reason why some Nigerians are worried is because the awareness for the swap of this currency has been very poor. Some people did not even know that we are going to have new money. for a long time, or for the longest time. People only knew to us last week.
So it became at the point it became like a hearsay. Had they said, you don't hear the rumor. They said I want change money. No, it's not supposed to be like that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So again, what role did the National Orientation Agency play towards the sensitization of people? Why wouldn't they know? Why? What's it be their work if they don't know?
No, they were not informed.
How? Oh, Juliet.
They were not informed.
No, he didn't say that with a straight face.
They didn't know.
Juliet, you did not say that.
Any provision.
No, you're not saying that with a straight face.
You will not believe that they are underfunded. They're underfunded.
All right, Lagos. The phone lines are open. Please, let's hear from you, because if I answer Juliet like this, she will not even.
They don't know anything about it. So they're not carried along.
So let me quickly play the voice of Emefiele himself. So you hear from the horse's mouth where he was saying this in Dara himself, and then once we're done with this sound bite, I will get to play a few sound bites of people who have this money.
Is this Dara? Dara is fine. No?
This is the president's house. Please, Juliet.
Oh, okay.
Respect yourself.
Thank
All right,
you.
people, hear this.
Swap initiative in the hinterlands, rural areas, and regions underserved by banks in the country. C. We deployed 30,000 super agents nationwide to assist in our cash swap initiative in the hinterlands, rural areas, and regions underserved by banks in the country to ensure that the weak and vulnerable ones amongst us can swap or exchange their old notes. D. Particularly those of the great deputy directors and directors in Abuja to proceed to all CBN branches nationwide to join the mass mobilization campaign, and deputy directors and directors in Abuja to proceed to all CBN branches nationwide to join the mass mobilization campaign and monitoring program, working with the deposit money banks, agents, and our branch controllers across the 36 states of the Federation. This is meant to ensure compliance with all our guidelines already issued for smooth implementation of the program. Although we have received some reports of breaches by some bank branches, we have agreed with the executive chairman of the EFCC and ICPC to assist us by sending their staff to all CBN and bank branches nationwide to join in monitoring the implementation of these guidelines. The aim is to ensure compliance with the laid down guidelines. E. We are happy that so far the exercise has achieved a success of over 75% of the 2.7 trillion naira held outside the banking system. Nigerians in the rural areas, our villages, the aged and the vulnerable have had the opportunity to swap their old notes, leveraging the Agent Naira Swap Initiative, as well as the CBN senior staff nationwide sensitization exercise. F. Aside from those holding illicit and stolen Naira in their homes for speculative purpose, we do aim to give all Nigerians that have Naira legitimately earned and trapped the opportunity to deposit their legitimately trapped monies at the CBN for exchange. Based on the foregoing, we have today sought and obtained Mr. President's approval for the following. 1. A 10-day extension of the deadline from January 31, 2023 to February 10, 2023 to allow for collection of more old notes legitimately held by Nigerians and achieve more success in cash swap in our rural areas, in our villages and communities, after which all old notes outside the CBN loses their legal tender.
Lagos, you heard that from the CBN governor himself. So this story, you have to follow us very carefully because it has different angles to it. That was the CBN governor reacting, talking to us about the extension of the collection of the new old Naira notes, right? We also have, now we have to deal with the frustration of Nigerians in accessing the new Naira notes. We also have to deal with the extortion of some POS agents, because we hear now that POS agents are charging you 300 naira for every 500 naira they give you of the new Naira.
My dear, I went to transfer money to somebody because I couldn't stay at the I couldn't stand the queue at the bank. She collected 1,000 naira to transfer money. How much was the money that was transferring? See me.
Okay. So Lagos, that's the discussion this evening. But in a swift reaction, let's quickly let you know before we go to the frustration that the CBN and the POS operators are facing, and of course their adverse extortion. The fact that National Assembly have reacted swiftly, fuming about this policy. How dare you? How dare you? In fact, they even rejected the extension to 10 days and ultimately 17 days.
They wanted the end of June to the end of June.
They said that they are saying that through Aline Dume that the central bank should extend the collection
to the 31st of June. Well, we don't have 31 days.
Please, now calm down now.
No, please. I need to say this because it's been in my mind. We don't have 31st of June.
Gina, did you go to nursery school?
June ends 30 days, Abby.
30 days as September,
30
April,
days
June,
as
and November.
April, June, and November. All the rest has 30.
No, I can't believe you're forgetting yourself.
Yeah.
So the House of Representatives rejected a 10-day extension of the new Naira note and vows to arrest the CBN governor. In fact, my people, this matter is
31st of
very
June.
James. And then the House ad hoc committee on new Naira note redesign and Naira swap policy has rejected the 10-day extension granted by the Central Bank of Nigeria for the swap of your 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira notes. The ad hoc committee, chaired by the leader of the House, Honorable Al-Hassan Adodogua, in a statement said the 10-day extension for the exchange of the old Naira notes is not the solution. We, as legislators, we don't want that kind of thing at all. This is not what he said it to. But you know what, Lagos,
that's how you summarize that.
Yes. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you exactly what he said and in their own words, and then we'll begin to take your calls and reactions, and also get to hear from you the frustration that you've been facing in accessing the new Naira notes. After this break, stay with us, Lagos.
Want to be heard? If you want to be heard, say it here. Voice of the people, 90.3 FM. 90.3 FM.
Papa, mama, brother, sister, this Lagos must work for all of us. Everybody down
Oh yes, Lagos people, papa, mama, sister, brother, auntie, plus including uncle them. Better don't land for Lagos State gidigba. Money will be for Lagos State, then go use them for Lagos State. No more papa sope. They no go chop Lagos State money. Nobody go pocket Lagos State. Then go take and build Lagos State, build road, build hospital, build houses, and now only one man fit do this job. His name na Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jando. He can't carry one obunge person as the deputy governor. Her name na Funke Akindele. My people, what do we wait for? Make we vote for light, vote for change. Not be the kind change where they vote before. This one na the original change. How Amumu don't do. Pay they pay.
Everybody
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Pizza.
Oh yes, he's here to change the narrative. Here to make things work in Nigeria and for Nigerians. On Peter, we shall build this nation. Arise, fellow Nigerians, and let's wake up the sleeping giant. Vote Peter Obi, a man with great vision and an enthusiast of the real change. The only man we can trust with the nation's finance. Oh yes, for good governance. Let's join hands together and vote Labour Party. Vote Peter Obi for president. Supported by Chief Dr. Paul Ezenwa Akudo, CEO, Wugas Intercontinental Limited. When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
If you're
looking for a place to relax and find comfort, the right place to be is the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, we offer excellent services to our clients and customers. We serve high quality wines at our restaurant and bar, while our continental dish is second to none. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, located on 42 Muritala Mohammed International Airport Road, our rooms are in conformity with international standard and best practices. We accord priority to security for all our guests. Breakfast is free.
That's how I do.
Yay! And we have standard facilities for your seminar and training. For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-7003-333.
Ice on my neck, ice on my wrist, you know. That's how I do.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
Lagos, you're welcome back. 90.3 Voice of the People FM on the Evening Rush. This evening, we've been discussing why the president consented to the extension of the collection of the old Naira notes. And we had given you that preamble. We played the voice of the governor of the central bank while he was in Naira with the president and giving that press briefing and the, how he explained his explanation to why, that extension is taking place. The fact that you just have from now to the 10th of January to swap your old Naira notes, and also from 10th to 17th of February to go to the CBN to do the needful, right? So, and I was telling you before we went on break that in a swift development, the House of Representatives ad hoc committee, or through its ad hoc committee on Naira redesign and swap, have been fuming about the extension, that the 10 days is not even enough at all. So the ad hoc committee, chaired by the leader of the House, Honorable Al-Hassan Adodogowa, in a statement said, I quote him now, said, the 10-day extension for the exchange of the old Naira notes is not the solution. We as legislative committee with the constituted mandate of the House would only accept clear compliance with section 20 subsection 3, 4 and 5 of the CBN Act and nothing more. Nigeria, as a developing economy and an nascent democracy, must respect the principle of the rule of law, and the House would go ahead to sign arrest warrants to compel the CBN governor to appear before the ad hoc committee. So he said. Now, Dogowa said under his chairmanship, the committee would continue its work until it gets the demands of the Nigerians addressed in accordance with the laws of the land. He described the extension as mere political gimmick. That is napoli. Okay, just so you don't understand what gimmick. To further deceive Nigerians and worsen their economic and social livelihood, insisting that the CBN governor must appear before or stand a risk of being arrested on the strength of legislative writs. And signed earlier by Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila. He also said the policy is capable of frustrating the forthcoming general elections. Why? Security agent. Why will he frustrate
I had arrest like 4 times.
Yeah, the arresting
that press release.
Yeah, he also said the policies capable of frustrating the forthcoming general elections, security agencies and their operations, especially at the state level, are generally funded through cash advances and directable payments of allowances to operatives during elections. Should be federal government that said anything that has to do with government must be on transfer. So why are we dealing with cash here? And why will it be a problem?
Oh, we talking from all corners of our mouth.
I don't understand. So you recall that the CBN had on October 26, 2022 announced the plan to redesign where this matter don't go fast.
I'll give you tips on how to redesign your money.
Just hold on.
If you don't have new Naira, I'll tell you what to do.
Just hold on.
Do you know that holding this blue? Blue. That holding this blue.
Like you mix and soak your white.
If you carry all your Naira, just put it inside.
So Lagos. Now this is the conversation, right? The House of Rep vehemently refusing the extension of the collection of the old Naira notes to 10th and 17th of February. I'd like to take get your take on this conversation. And then moving it, one would want to say that, wait, since when did these people start having our interest at heart? Because we've had several things till now. The House Committee in petroleum downstream and upstream, they have not called the Minister for Petroleum, who is the president, and told him that please come and explain to us why our people don't have fuel.
But this Naira
are suffering.
This Naira one is important
because they can get fuel easily. This Naira that we're having now is a problem. Why? Because it's biting us and it's biting the body. Fuel, somehow they can find a way to get their fuel. You see that Nigerians are not suffering enough, because what is happening now is that people are frustrated. People are facing queues for fuel, facing queues for Naira, facing queues for PVC. We're just you must be queuing for something.
Our sufferings are not balanced.
You must be queuing. You see this period.
Some people suffering day like this. Some people day like this.
So you must be queuing for something this period. So we'll just ask you, how are you queuing?
For Naira?
How are you queuing? It's not how you queuing. It's how are you queuing. So are you queuing for Naira, for fuel, or for PVC?
That's very valid.
Which one are you queuing for?
Valid.
Because you must need one of them.
You must queue for something.
You must queue for something. An average Nigerian now queues for something. So one will want to say that, so the House of Rep likes us that much and they want to protect our interests to be sure that the CBN does not make things difficult for us.
Is it true? I've
so
been
much love. All right. So let's move now to the POS operators, because people are saying, not just people are saying, the banks are saying, the CBN had even said that, why we ensure that we give out enough cash. So why would the bank say that they don't have enough cash to give to people? Because what I'm imagining the reality of the situation to be is that the CBN knows
don't
the
come
amount
up with
of
your
money.
own what's that theory they say? Conspiracy theory.
So the idea that they know the amount because of the excess money we had in circulation before that was outside the banking vaults. The CBN will be wise enough not to push in too much cash, so that if you want money, you have to be collecting small and be keeping the rest inside your account.
So the one they pushed in, what happened to that?
So the one they pushed in, which they thought would have been enough to at least go around to a certain percentage based on the new, there's a new cash policy. Based on the new cash policy, that amount would have been enough to go around to Nigerians.
So
what happened to that money?
Where did sabotage come in?
Exactly, because you see a situation where people go to the banks, they can't get that money. But then you have a situation where, in fact, let me play you the voice of one of your popular actresses who said she was in a location, Jeje. It's not like she was even crying for money. And her hobby was so nice like this. And I said, my wife must be going through stress trying to buy agbado in location. Let me just go and bring a new Naira note for her to just use so that she can buy money. And he sent her 2.5 bundles to 200 Naira of the new Naira notes. A bundle is 200 Naira, right? So in a pack, 2.5 packs rather. So a pack is 10 notes, right? 10 notes in a pack is how much? 200,000. 200,000 times 2, 400,000. Not Sabi as well. If you come to money, plus 5 extra. So that's about 500,000 Naira cash of the new Naira notes that they sent to her. Cash in location, meaning that where that money is coming from, there'll be more. How did one person possess so much cash of the new Naira note to have up to 500,000 Naira cash at a time? Just like that, when the rest people are suffering to have it. And it's not as if that is the only case. If you go to these people who, people are already selling it, right? People who are doing parties, people who pay you for spraying, for giving them money for spraying in parties, as carrying it in heaps. How do they get it in heaps?
But I told you about this business now. You pay 3K and get No, you pay 5,000 naira and get 3K notes.
All right, Lagos. Let me play the voice of your popular actress, who announced how magnanimous her hobby was as sending her the new Naira notes even while she was in location, so she doesn't suffer. Take a listen to this.
So I'm filming on set, and hubby sent the accountant to bring cash to my location. Although the bank brought it into 200 naira, but yeah, it's fine. I love it. Thank you.
You hear him, Abby? Okay, it's not from me. All right, so that's it. So let me also quickly let you know. So let me quickly also.
No get rich hobby.
So let me quickly also let you know that the Department of State Services (DSS) has arrested some members of an organized syndicate selling the new Naira notes in parts of the country. How did these people get it? Although the DSS did not disclose the names and locations of the suspects.
How did they become organized?
Of the suspects. The agency said in a statement on Monday that some commercial bank officials were aiding and abetting the act. The statement signed by the Police Public Relations Officer DSS, Dr. Peter Afonaya, warned that the service would go after those involved in the malfeasance behavior. Okay, make I just leave on there. So we went on and on, but that's by the way. So this is to let you know that even the regulatory agencies, even the law enforcement agencies are already aware that there are people who are using this new Naira notes as a business right now. And how did they get access to the new Naira notes still becomes a mystery to us. On the other hand, let's quickly move to the POS operators who are now using this as normal business, right? To either frustrate fellow Nigerians or just do one thing or the other. Because so you would recall that the POS people these days, I told you that for them to give you a new Naira note of 5,000 Naira now, you have to pay 300 Naira. It's against the 100 Naira that you take for old notes, right? So that's actually the new level now. So Promise, our producer, went out to speak to some POS operators, and this is what they had to say. Anyone that I do not understand, you let to help us interpret, but just take a listen. Juliet, would you like to step next to what she said?
So she said she has been good. She has been in the bank since morning. She knows the money collect. Say her name now. She mentioned her name, that she's a POS operator.
What did she say about 7-8?
That's where she has her business under the bridge.
Okay.
So that she has been queuing in the bank to collect money. She knows the money collect. So make them beg our leaders. So may they help us prepare this country.
Chai.
ìjọba mi dẹ̀ fẹ́ wọlé báyìí wọ́n ti wọlé ní gbogbo nǹkan wá dàrú báyìí. Make una help us o Nigeria, make e no spoil more than this one o. Who enter inside bank go sef, new money you no see collect, old money you no see collect, even ATM go sef hardly to get because the queue is too much.
And so since how long wey you dey bank?
Since morning till now. There is no cash. No money to withdraw. No money to withdraw. We POS, we are tired. Many Nigerian people help us. So
when I went to this bank this morning, even I have a friend in the bank that I went to go and meet to give me money. He said when he resumed work this morning that he have signed that he should not release any money, even the old one and the new one.
Like the bank signed, they shouldn't release money.
Sign with their manager this morning that they said he should sign. They give him a note to sign that if he release even the old money or the new money, they will arrest him. So they are not giving POS they're not giving any money, even the old one, the new one, no any money.
So how about other people who try to take money?
Nobody they give money. The only people they try to push out to go and collect money from the ATM, and it's 20,000 a day, which they are collecting from the ATM. But inside the bank here, they are not paying anybody, even the old notes, the new notes, no money to the POS. So we are stranded. We don't have any money to do our business. You can see most of the POS are closed down. Even me, I resumed 10 o'clock today. So everybody closed down. Even I'm about to close now because I don't have any money. They don't give us money. See crowd. They don't see money to do anything.
Thank you, Promise, for that great work. So Juliet, this is the conversation. So, a situation where even the POS operators cannot access
half
cash.
of them were not in business today.
Yes.
There's one girl that stays near my place. Like 2 of them did not come. They don't show
because
they
there
don't
was,
see
there was
money.
no money to.
So they
to
queued up.
business.
I actually witnessed an ATM machine that wasn't working. People queued up. After a while, I told them, when I go, no money there. Even one particular bank, as they enter, I said, "Do you want to withdraw? We don't have money." Even if you enter the banking hall, they don't have money. They think they cause the problem.
All right, Lagos phone lines are open 07. I wish Mr. Emefiele would have joined us because we're expecting him to join us so we can, put a proper perspective to this conversation. But before he joins us, we'd like you to, take help us share your thoughts and reactions to this conversation, and also share your experiences if you would. 0700-903-903-903. That's the number to call. 0700-903-903-903. Are you a POS operator? What are you going through? And have you tried accessing the new Naira notes? What's your take on it? What do you also make of the National Assembly fighting for our survival so that we can get this new Naira notes
on June 30th,
begging for us for it to be extended to June 31st? Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening. This is Victor calling. Juliet.
Sir.
My greetings to you.
Good afternoon, sir. God bless you. Okay, it's evening. Good evening, sir.
See the way you're confusing. See the way you're confusing, Juliet. I'm very well, thank you, sir.
Okay, my own take is that I've heard all what you have said, but my own take is that these commercial banks are culpable in this side because I can remember the governor of Central has gave us a warning that any bank that refuses to comply should be sanctioned. And the problem we have most of the time is that we may have good policy, but implementation is also another problem. Now, when you also go to the bank, you want to withdraw for the ATM, you feel like 6 ATM machines, only one machine is expensive. So now the question is, now the problem will not be asking, what's wrong with other teller machine? Why are they not dispensing? So I think that there's a lot to need to be done because this policy is not helping us in any way. You go out to buy something, you can't. Even today, I went to make a withdrawal, and I saw somebody with the new notes. I wanted just to withdraw like 2,000. He said I should bring like I should charge me like 400. So this policy is not helping us at all.
It's not policy at all.
Policy is not policy.
The banks are culpable on all this, and the governor of Central Bank has not done anything. Even the people that the DSS have arrested up to now, we should look to know people that are behind all this and expose them, that we can this policy will be. And what I even want to ask is that even if they are going to mop up these cards that in excess of one, will these cards not take money way into the hands of people when we are in another election? So this is not the election we are going to have.
You know that may be the reason why. You know that before now, the withdrawal policy is not the same. Right now, there is restriction in withdrawal, the amount of money you can withdraw. So that would make it impossible for one person to access so much cash.
Yes. So I believe that if the CBN should be able to sit up and be able to do the needful, so that we don't find ourselves in this quagmire again. That's my take.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, Lagos, phone lines are open. We'd like to hear from you. What do you make of this entire thing? What do you make of the drama going on between the CBN governor and the National Assembly ad hoc committee on money redesign and all of that, and with their warning that they must arrest the CBN governor? And what do you make of the frustration? How are you coping, buying and selling? That's very important too, because it's not been easy for me. Over the weekend, I decided to do all my shopping through transfers. I could not come and kill myself and die.
Well, so is there everybody that has accounts?
So you know what happened? Just hold on. So I went to a Malam. I needed to buy vegetables, carrots, green peas, and all of those things. So I asked the Malam, and then I also wanted to make stew. So I wanted to buy tomatoes too. So and I wanted to buy yam. So all those Malams, how to line up in their wheelbarrows.
I love yam.
So I asked the Malam, which of you have accounts here? I will transfer. And one said they have. I said, okay, I'll buy something from all of you. And I'll send the money to you so you can share to your brothers. Do you agree? He said he agrees. And I bought all the things I want to buy. I went to my meat customer. I said, Oga, I'll do transfer. That's how I bought all my things. And life was just easy like that. Because I cannot come and kill myself and die. Somehow, we needed to eat because it was difficult getting cash to eat.
At least the good thing that we're going really cashless.
Exactly. Exactly, but
Extremely
again, that's his problem on its own, which we'll get back to. Hello, good evening to you. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, my name is Julius. I'm calling from Ladekwa.
Julius, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you, Julius.
You see, sometimes I get confused because I think the journalist and the CBN supposed to work together.
Okay.
To net or to feed the people. That is what the truth is.
Okay.
But sometimes it's like I don't know whether it's the journalists. They are not working with the CBN.
What is the problem? Let us know. What have we said that shouldn't be said?
What I'm trying to say is that you should leave the CBN, they are doing their work. Because some people who load money and keep somewhere, they don't want to bring it out. So CBN knows what it's doing. So you should allow CBN to do
have
what
we said that the CBN, did we ever mention that CBN doesn't know what he's doing or they are doing?
And that's what I'm saying. You have to educate the people. That's it.
We have to do what?
Educate the people. And that is exactly what we're doing.
That's why we're here.
Perhaps you did not listen to the discussion enough. If you had listened to the discussion enough, you would hear that that's what we're doing.
We're the voice of the people.
I even just did mention right now that all of my transactions during the weekend, I did via transfer alone.
Yeah.
So if I could do all of my transaction cashless, that is me also encouraging others that it is
to
doable.
go cashless. Yeah.
So, however, there's a little bit of wahala that the banks need to straighten, with the cashless economy thing.
Okay.
Charges. Transaction errors,
that one's
failed transactions.
Yeah.
Today I saw a certain bank trending on social media. A colleague of mine woke up this morning, was to order transport, car hailing service to work this morning, only for them to charge him, for him to notice that he's been debited 50,000 naira from his account from nowhere.
That's a lot of money.
His card, his information, everything about his banking details have been intact. How did he get debited rather? For what purpose was he debited for?
Was he trying to buy something online?
He did not try to do anything according to
his
him.
Details out
his
there.
Details are not out there. How did that happen?
This happen?
So, but this happens. He's not the first person this has happened to. It's been happening like that to Nigerians. So the banks need to ensure that their cyber security is a bit more, tight. Because you cannot force me to want to run transactions. There are lots of people who have been complaining all day that they can't even access a particular bank's app. That all day is not being accessible. Their online banking has been down all day.
I've been trying to access one bank since Friday.
All right. So now you understand. So as much as we have to also educate people, but the banks also have to do their due diligence, ensure that they do their part. Hello, good evening to you.
I want to say something.
Yes, please. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. I think, is this the voice of the people?
It is very much.
Yeah, that was last week. You played some voice of one man that is campaigning, that's saying that this Naira matter, is against him to frustrate his efforts winning the election. Yes, and the fuel also. I don't know why we continue to complain. I think CBN governor and the president, they know what they're doing. President also said that day that there's no going back in the same session. Trying remain. Please, let us not complain. Let the people that they know what they're doing. And from this radio station also, that you people say, I had that Bulos van run into Kadaba compound.
Okay, you did not hear that story. The bullion van actually missed its way.
Okay,
it hasn't gotten the update.
Let's
give you updates. The bullion van missed its way to that destination.
You always say it. Allow these people to do the work.
But we're not stopping them from doing their work.
We will not keep on complaining for we to enter into like group. Allow the president and the CB governor. The legislators, they know what they are saying.
I appreciate your
input. They are not being working for us.
Against us.
Legislators are not there. Legislators are not there for the Nigerians. They are there for their belly.
I'm sorry, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But I'm letting you talk because this is the voice of the people FM, so we'll have to let you talk, right? But I think that you probably do not understand what we have been saying. So what we've been saying is actually for the interest of the masses.
Yes.
People have been facing difficulty in accessing the money.
We are the voice of the people.
We've also been here trying to let people understand that they have alternative measures to also seek run their transactions without getting cash, which I even gave myself on my transactions over the weekend as an example, right? And we've also been talking about those trying to stifle the policy, that the DSS has even arrested some people who they found complicit for trying to stifle this, that they're holding cash that they're using to sell, using it to do business. If we wanted to hold government by the neck, we won't be bringing out all of this. And we did play you a voice note of the CBN governor himself saying what he said. Even the people. So what is the problem? I think that we're missing.
We're trying to be balanced here. We are balanced.
All right, Lagos. Phone lines are still open. 0700-903-903. That's the number to call. If you like, you can do us a WhatsApp message to 0700-903-9039. That's the number to do a WhatsApp message to. Hello, good evening.
Hello, my dear sister. Good evening.
My dear brother, you're welcome. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from? What's my brother's name?
Mike. I'm calling from Elasa.
Mr. Mike from Elasa, you're welcome. Go ahead, let's hear you.
Yes. Please, this is this House of Representatives member. They are not there for us, the masses. If you can remember, Dino Malaya, when there's a video going viral, when he was posing, showing Nigeria's watch, showing Nigeria's shoes, showing us inside his house, cars. That is what they are there for. Please let them allow CBN to do their work. I like what the DSS and the ICTs are doing, because here on Saturday I went to shoot. My God, I can't believe it. See how they line up the new Naira note.
Are you serious? Where?
Where in Oshodi?
Where in Oshodi?
It's inside the market. I went to buy shoe.
Selling the new Naira note inside Oshodi market?
In a Cairo market. In Oshodi.
Oh wow. That's interesting.
Guys, I say, madam, they say, madam, which one do you want?
The 200, 500,
I said, yes.
How much are you selling it? How much are you selling?
10,000. You minus, I'll give you 8,000. I said, for my money, I said, I know they buy. I just go there. So, who are these people giving this with this new Naira note? When people are suffering,
that is the problem.
They can't give to POS. They go to bank, they steal the same. Go to ATM, the same old note that ATM machine is dispensing. So, these legislators, this is not the time for them to work for us. Because they pack it in their sockaway, in their overhead tank, and they build a store for their house. Many of them don't go to their constituency. They don't know how the roads there are. So please let them pack well and leave Nigeria. Let us be moving ahead. By the special grace of God, February 25, God must give us a good leader.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Julia, this is another angle to it. People are now selling the Naira notes cash.
But I told you, why didn't you even believe me when I told you first that I know somebody who says, bring 3,000 Naira. Okay, bring 5,000 Naira. I'll give you 3,000 Naira new notes. It's not the same thing. You don't believe me.
It's not like I didn't believe you, but this is, to hawk it in a broad day market, like a regular market. Hello, good evening to you. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, my name is Philip. I'm calling you from Ajawa State presently.
You're welcome. Please go ahead. Let's hear you.
Thank you, Voice of the People.
Thank you so much.
I think this is the best policy, monetary policy that CBN has made.
All right.
And though the people are going to go through stress, but I bet you, when you talk about disadvantages and advantages of monetary policy, always you see there's a specific type of policy you use for a specific type of people who are very difficult, and you get success out of it. This is a policy that the central bank has used. It's somehow stylishly true. One, they want to withdraw money from circulation to control inflation. Two, they are changing notes. And three, they are trying to curb the politicians from what they call money hoarding or whatever. If you see, at the end of the day, the people will go through a lot of stress. But if we now analyze it, what becomes the economic situation of the country after all these policies are made, you will see that we have a lot again. I am also going through the same stress. You have a lot of money, but you can't withdraw. You can't transact with cash. Today, I walked all the way from 7 and 8 to almost, if you know the place called Aswani. In fact, we were in a group. We were looking for ATM from one ATM to the other, to the other, to the other. And unfortunately, we didn't get any. But yes, I did it smilingly because I know it's something we have to do to have a better future. Which in economy they call opportunity cost. What you have to suffer to get something better. So to this, I give an A+ to the central bank, the monetary policy at which they have followed. And I appreciate the president for standing strongly behind this Emefiele man. Because this is the way that they're going to come and give us a very free and fair election with very little exchange. Let me not use the term, the wrong terms for them. With very little exchange and control. So I want to thank you people for this program, and I want to thank the people, and I want to beg all of us Nigerians to be patient with this policy because it will pay off.
Thank you.
At the long run.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
We appreciate it. Thank you. So just to let you know, Nigerians, right? The CBN governor has said that the policy has actually yielded its result, because they've mopped up about 75% of cash that have been outside the banking system. They've been able to bring those cash back, within the banking system. And that's a good thing if you ask me. Out of 2.7 trillion naira that has been outside the banking system, they've been able to recover about 1.9 trillion naira, which is very commendable.
So the initial plan was to make sure that everyone is banking.
Exactly. And then the good thing now is that we just have about 900 billion left, and we're hoping that between now and the 17th, out of that 900 billion, we'll have about 500 billion back within the banking system. And that's a good one. All right, Lagos, let's quickly jump on a break. We'll be right back to continue with this conversation. Stay with us. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM. My name is Precious, and she is Juliet. We'll be right back, Lagos.
This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
If you're looking for a place to relax and find comfort, the right place to be is the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, we offer excellent services to our clients and customers. We serve high quality wines at our restaurant and bar, while our continental dish is second to none. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, located on 42 Muritala Mohammed International Airport Road, our rooms are in conformity with international standard and best practices. We accord priority to security for all our guests. Breakfast is free.
That's how I do.
Yay! And we have standard facilities for your seminar and training. For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-7003-333.
Ice on my neck, ice on my wrist, that's how I do.
All right, Legacy, welcome back. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM. Before we went on break, we had given you preambles as to what's happening with the new Naira policy, the Naira redesign, the extension of the old Naira collection from 31st to 10th, and then up to ultimately 17th of February 2022. And then we also did tell you that the House of Representatives is fuming about it. They are not happy. In fact, one of them had asked last week that it should be extended to June 31st, fully. And then, of course, just in reaction to the today's extension of yesterday's extension to 31st to 17th or 10th of February, the House of Rep is also saying that they are not in support of it, that the CBN governor must come and answer questions from them as to why it has to be that way, that are not happy about it. And in another development, the POS operators are saying that doing business has been very frustrating for them because they cannot access the new Naira note to do business. And I did tell you that I'm wondering why some Nigerians seem to have access to these new Naira notes in large quantity. To the extent that one of the person who called us just before the break did mention that this new Naira note is being hawked in Oshodi market.
Cairo market.
Sell. You want to get 10,000 Naira, they'll give you 8,000 and give you 10,000 Naira. I mean, they'll give you 8,000
that as a business.
So it's now business. You understand?
Bring 5,000
and I'm
Naira.
wondering, those people that are selling it, how did they get it, right? And then apart from that, I told you about an actress who her husband just was gracious enough not to let his baby girl wife suffer on set and set her about 500,000 Naira cash of the new Naira notes. Oh shit.
It's good to have money.
All right. Okay, and then I also did tell you that the DSS had said that they had arrested some people that they found, complicit in the new Naira notes wahala because they were doing business with the new Naira notes. So we have Mr. Emefiele in the house, and we'll be waiting for you. Like you are the one we've been waiting for.
You are the one we've been waiting. I can thank you for him before you did. You are the one.
Mr. Emefiele is a financial analyst, economist, and he's
a good one at that.
He's savvy the facts and figures. So, Mr. Yemi, one of the fear that is in the hearts of Nigerians is we hope that this extension will not mar the intention of the policies.
Well, first off, I apologize for being late.
It's okay. It's okay.
I was running through my own share of the queues.
Oh my goodness!
Money queues.
So we're saying that you have to be queuing for something in Nigeria. You're queuing for money, queuing for fuel, queuing for PVC.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
No, the people are collecting PVCs,
but they're still queuing. Hello. Oh please, Mr. Gemi, let's have you back.
So I mean, the CBN is setting its own timelines and at the same time breaking those timelines.
What's the implication?
Well, the implication is obviously, we're all going through it. The cash is not available. So when the CBN governor came out yesterday and said, they've mopped up 1.9 trillion.
Yes.
And then they want to use the remaining time to mop up the
900 billion.
The 900 billion that is left. I mean, that leaves the other angle of you've not pushed enough money into the system.
Circulation.
Now, while we're not expecting that they will push an equivalent amount into the system, what is expected is you push funds into the system enough to circulate around from the urban centers to the rural communities, so that there are no people will not say no, I have not seen it, but over the last 2 weeks especially, what you find out is that you get to go to the banks and then they are giving you the same old currency. Now, I think the real issue here is that there is a scarcity, and when there is scarcity, then there will be
more demand.
But how can there be a scarcity? There's a lacuna somewhere. How can there be a scarcity when some people obviously have this in abundance, while others don't have it at all?
Well, that's not a true abundance, really. So there is scarcity. And it is expected that you won't have as much cash pushed into the economy as it is.
That is given because we're even trying to drive cashless policy.
Now, the thing is, it appears, and I think the truth is that the cash that you're even pushing out is not enough, right? So when the cash is not enough, when there is scarcity, then there's opportunity for what you call arbitrage. Now, the opportunity for arbitrage means, when there's something is scarce and some people are able to
get hold of it,
get their hands on it, then they can make some profit on top of it. So that is what happens when you have.
So who are those people responsible for ensuring that they get hold of it? If the banks did their due diligence in sharing the money evenly, based on the new, remember we have a new withdrawal policy, based on the new withdrawal policy, how come some people have it in large amounts and
like 500,000 naira at once?
You know, we all sounded like 500,000 naira.
No, it's not a big
It's a whole lot because of the new policy.
We know.
It's a whole lot right now.
So
it's if you try to dig to the details, to a very large extent, you eventually find nothing. Find nothing in the sense that you just be chasing shadows. Now, what the CBN ought to have done is to look at you never just go out and say I want to do this without proper planning. Now, there's a huge level of logistic involved in this cash distribution. Now, let's say you have enough cash that is going to go round the entire 774 local governments in Nigeria. There's a huge element of logistic involved in distributing that cash.
Absolutely.
Now, from the CBN, which has just about 36 branches or thereabouts across,
the states,
the country. 36 branches or thereabouts across. I think they have branches in every
state. That's why I said across the states.
Now, but then some banks have over 100, over 100 branches across the country. Now, there's a distribution element of how the cash moves from the Security and Minting to central bank, and from central bank headquarters to the different states branches of central bank, and from those branches to the branches of the banks. Now, I think CBN underestimated the amount of logistics required in getting
or there was
done.
No initial plan.
It's either they underestimated it or they didn't plan it.
There was no plan.
I mean, I think maybe they just thought that, okay, since we ordinarily distribute money, so it should just fall in line that way. However, what you're doing in this instance is that you are mopping up money, and then you are also supposed to distribute money, which is not in very much abundance. And now, when you are trying to do that distribution, and which I mean, we live. There's a little amount of cash that is available for the economy. Then you create a situation whereby there's arbitrage. So that arbitrage could have come up maybe at the point where it is being distributed from CBN officials to the different banks, or when it gets to the bank branches, and then somebody within the bank now says, you know what, let's rationalize the amount of cash that we are giving to customers. But in the process, you now have some people you call premium customers.
But some people are paying to buy it.
It is possible that people do pay to buy it. I mean, I think it was while I was driving down here that somebody was saying that people were selling cash, pretty much like, maybe 10,000. You exchange 10,000.
8,000 for 10,000, yeah.
Things like that. So that's a whopping 20% right there and then, So that's a whole lot of problem. I think the main issue is that there's scarcity, and the CBN needs to address that scarcity by ensuring that the 2 weeks that it has given itself now, make sure that 2 weeks really counts to ensure that this cash gets everywhere. There are queues all over. I've been to a couple of places today, from Victoria Island to Ikoyi, to the mainland. I mean, people, you have a long queues, to get this cash. And when you eventually get to the point at which this cash is supposed to be given to you, perhaps you are coming off with 10,000 naira, coming off with less than what you need. And I think the real issue here is the fact that we have not gone cashless enough.
I was about getting to that point, because the CBN came up with a new policy, which I did not think was timely enough, about incorporating the aged and the elderly through a CBM scheme that will move into the rural areas to ensure that they mop up the cash, the old cash from those regions. And I wanted to say this: did you think the CBN started this initiative early enough?
Well, I think the moment you announce that a new currency was being launched, I think December 15 or thereabout. It is at that moment that all your strategies to ensure.
But we never heard anything like that.
Like we didn't put we put the cart before the horse.
Well, we
didn't do the basic thing first.
So the part of the planning ought to have been that what you have now. We're now knowing you have 30,000 agents that are going to do cash swaps and all those stuff. And in my own thought, really, it's like sounding bites.
Yeah.
It's important that you are seen doing this thing than say, oh, we are sending 30,000 agents are there to exchange cash with. It remains to be demonstrated.
That's like PR.
Yeah, because if it is happening, we won't have the situation that we have today. In the rural areas, indeed, they're very underserved. They're not getting the cash. I mean, if you're not getting the cash in Lagos, then I now tell you, why is it going to be easy for you to get cash close to Nigerians that are close to the borders of Benin Republic, Cameroon, and Co. So they've not done well enough in this instance, and I think it's hurting the people.
It's biting hard,
and it's actually somewhat hurting the economy.
So do you think perhaps the CBN is deliberately not pushing out enough cash so that the money bags and the powers that be don't siphon them back? Maybe till after the deadline. Maybe that's when they're waiting to push out more. I don't know. What do you think?
Well,
you think it's deliberate?
Well, the CBN makes things a little bit complicated in this case by saying that, part of the reason why you're having this currency launch, is to fight insecurity and vote buying. The truth is that those are not the core mandates of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Yeah, currency issuance, efficient payment system, ensuring that, you have a fair and well-monitored financial system. Those are the core mandates of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, to say that you are extending it to, preventing vote buying and all those things, in all sincerity, I'm not sure how that works. I think largely it would be inconvenient for the politicians to get their hands on the money. But then, if you have individuals getting, in quotes, 500,000 naira, where everybody is saying, I can't get hold of the money.
I think that by some sort of is it misadventure, or I don't know, somewhat, the money still finds its way to the hands of the people that were, shielding the money from.
Yeah, so
eventually,
so that particular ambit of saying I want to prevent the money from getting into the hands of the money bags. That's why I said I'm not.
But they still get the money anyway.
No. I don't think this is exactly the CBN governor's personal wish or personal directive or intent, if I have to use the word intent.
He said
because he said it. As it is right now, it's looking like it's more like a collaboration between him and the president, because the president seems to be backing every single thing he's doing concerning this policy.
Well,
if you study the body language and the statement from both parties, very well.
Fair enough, because what you have is a situation whereby the Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN governor, is surrendering its autonomy, to the president,
to the executive,
by saying, "Oh, we have gotten approval from the president to extend this. We've gotten approval from the president to issue
do
currency."
This, because it's looking like everything is doing. Oh, I have backup from presidency, so don't call for me.
And really, he doesn't need. I think yes, you can sound out the president that we're doing this, but really to come out and say, "Oh, I got the approval from the president,"
Don't you think it's because of the attack on him, because he's been threatened to be arrested by the National Assembly?
Not once, not twice.
Not once. I mean, they've even gone to court to get an ex parte order for his arrest, and he's been alleged to be involved in terrorism, and all of that, because since this policy came to the limelight. So don't you think he's doing that just to let them know that, hey, I'm only the messenger, this is the person whose idea it is after all? Do you think that may be the case?
Well, I mean, it could all work for that purpose, but I'm not sure that is his intention really. But it may as well just work. But all those allegations, even from the security agencies, remains to be demonstrated really. So I think the core mandates of the CBN should go about executing its core mandates without fear or favor, and without trying to attribute those things to the executive.
Mr. Yemi, if they accuse you of terrorism, of funding terrorism, you have fear and favor.
The truth
you have fear. So don't you think the man is just trembled and he's acting the way he's acting because he wants
according
to be
to CBN regulations, does he really have to work in accordance with the executive?
So the CBN Act gives the CBN autonomy in terms of
monetary policies,
managing the economy from the standpoint of monetary policies, and that he is doing. So it doesn't need approvals or from the executives or maybe from the House of Representatives to do the things that he's doing, so long as he's doing things within his core mandates. So it's when he veers out of his core mandate that people will say, hey, come, what are you doing?
Do you think the legislative is stepping out of line? Are they kind of bullying him by calling for his arrest and all sorts?
Well, I think everybody must show their power.
So but is it something that he can pull off the threat and carry on?
I sincerely doubt this will work. So if many times they've tried to invite him to come to them to say to explain the reason for this currency stuff.
But shouldn't he explain?
Some deputy governors of CBN have been to the floor.
They're insisting he has to be the one this time.
Some deputy governors of the CBN have been to the floor of the House.
They are insisting that this time it has to be him.
And the House of Representative members were satisfied with the explanation that those people came to give them.
But now they want him. That's the issue. And they're insisting it has to be him.
But does he have
not
to be
representative? That's what they're saying, that it has to be him without a representative. They want him.
Well, so in terms of the understanding of the law, so the CBN has, an internal legal person, or even an external legal counsel that would interpret the law and say, indeed, this invitation is valid, and you can, visit them. And they can also say, nothing will happen if you do not, attend this invitation. Because I think the House of Representatives, the House itself, there's many things that has happened with the CBN that the House did not invite the CBN government.
I wanted to say that.
So why is this very important?
So
I wonder.
At the point at which the CBN governor was alleged to have been contested,
to be a card-carrying member of a party, nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
I do not think that the whole thing about the Anchor Borrowers Fund and all of those interventions the CBN was involved in is even in accordance to the act
it's the power
of the
money.
CBN.
Money
so
is
why
important.
did they not invite him all along? Why now? I thought of that too.
So I think everybody feels okay. Maybe this time around, it's really,
money is involved.
It affects the politicians this time around. Perhaps they won't get money to be able to facilitate elections. So perhaps maybe that is the reason.
So Mr. Yemi, the concern that we all have, the entire Nigerians, a lot of people who called in today are 101% in support of this policy. However, we are hoping that this extension will not in any way mar the intent of this policy. We want to hear from you. What do you think? Do you think that, with all of this extension to 10 from 10 to 17 and all of that, will it in any way truncate the policy, the entire idea of the policy?
So, first of all, I was disappointed that, there was an extension. But the reality at play is that the funds are not accessible to the extent that cashless policy is yet to fully kick in. So in the absence of being able to do your purchases with the traditional paper seller with a transfer or some electronic means, whether USSD and all those things, conveniently, or to pay for your bus fare conveniently using the electronic medium, then that means we are still largely dependent on cash. So I was talking to somebody sometime late last week. She's a Kenyan. And then she was telling me, way back in Kenya, you use M-Pesa, and, with a QR code, you can pay for your transport, you can pay for your paper and stuff like that. Now, to the extent that cashless hasn't kicked in, then, it means that the economy thrives on cash. Now, and I think everyone now realizes that. Now, given 2 weeks to say, I think on the part of CBN, what they should have admitted is to say, logistic-wise, we have failed. And I think we have looked at it 2-3 weeks because, you're having deadline of February 10th and February 17th. So within 2 to 3 weeks, from a logistic standpoint, we have all the money. But within 2 to 3 weeks from a logistic standpoint, we'll ensure that all the funds are distributed. I think that is fair enough. And I think it will be very, very disastrous, for the CBN to come back again and say there's going to be it shouldn't happen.
By disastrous, what do you mean? Please help us.
To ask for any extension.
What will happen
beyond 7? They need to ensure that the funds are available.
If they do, what would happen? I want to understand what would happen. What would the ordinary Nigerian face?
So the thing is that I think the ordinary Nigerians have faced a lot of problem. Over the last 2 weeks, having to deal with fuel queues and queuing for cash, and I think people were looking forward to the fact that this problem is going to end tomorrow, 31st.
So that let's see the way forward
and let's move forward. So, but then the CBN came 2 days earlier to say, hey, you know what? Let's extend this by another 10 days, 10 to 17 days. Now, I think for the CBN. It will not make any sense for them to come back and say they want to receive any extension, whether they say, oh, we're extending by ourselves or we've gone to the president and he has approved. It would not make any sense, and it would not also make any sense to push the extension all the way down to 31st of June.
I think it will make a mockery. It will make a mockery of the entire process.
All right, so Mr. Yemi Shone, we ought to have ended this segment here, but because of the queues that we're going through, we may have to extend this by 30 minutes into the next hour so that we can have you, because we need to reap as much as we can from you. Now that we have you, now that you have fuel to come here, because we don't know when you have fuel to come back here again. So we'll jump on a quick break. When we come back, the phone lines are already buzzing. We'll have to take your thoughts and reactions, Lagos. We have to also give you opportunity to ask Mr. Yemi some questions. However, when we'll come back, we'll be looking at the entire cashless policy thing. Are we really ready? Nigerians have suffered. Did you see a particular bank trending today? In fact, banks trending today.
Not only one bank.
Some of the apps could not even work at all. Some people have not been able to access their banking apps or even money through online. I mean, through normal internet banking or all sorts. So how do we even survive this cashless policy like this? I saw somebody tweet that, hello, tagged that bank and said, I'm about to wash plates now in a hotel after eating because I cannot pay for the food. Do you understand? But this is actually the reality that we may have to face if we continue like this. So the bank needs to do their due diligence. I will have to discuss that with you after the break. Lagos, stay with us. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM, and it is the Evening Rush. On a hot topic this evening, we're looking at the extension of the old money that you have, the collection of your old money, and of course we'll be looking at the just as I said before the break, that we'll be looking at when we come back from the break. We'll be looking at the whole cashless economy thing. Are we really ready for it? After this break, Lagos.
If you want to be heard, say it here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. People, 90.3 FM.
Papa, mama, brother, sister, this Lagos must work for all of us. Everybody down
Oh yes, Lagos people, papa, mama, sister, brother, auntie, plus including uncle them. Better don't land for Lagos State gidigba. Money will be for Lagos State, then go use them for Lagos State. Wella, no more papa sope. They no go chop Lagos State money. Nobody go pocket Lagos State. Then go take and build Lagos State, build road, build hospital, build houses, and now only one man fit do this job. His name na Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jando. He can't carry one obunge person as the deputy governor. Her name na Funke Akindele. My people, what do we wait for? Make we vote for light, vote for change. Not be the kind change where they vote before. This one na the original change. How Amumu don't do? Pay the pay.
Everybody
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Pizza. Pizza.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Oh yes, yes, he's here to change the narrative. Here to make things work in Nigeria and for Nigerians. On Peter, we shall build this nation. Arise, fellow Nigerians, and let's wake up the sleeping giant. The old Peter Obi, a man with great vision and an enthusiast of the real change. The only man we can trust with the nation's finance. Oh yes, for good governance. Let's join hands together and vote Labour Party.
Vote Peter Obi for president, supported by Chief Dr. Paul Ezenwa Akudo, CEO, Wugas Intercontinental Limited.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Looking for a place to relax and find comfort, the right place to be is the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, we offer excellent services to our clients and customers. We serve high quality wines at our restaurant and bar, while our continental dish is second to none. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, located on 42 Muritala Mohammed International Airport Road, our rooms are in conformity with international standard and best practices. We accord priority to security for all our guests. Breakfast is free.
That's how start do.
Yay! And we have standard facilities for your seminar and training. For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-7003-333.
Ice on my neck, ice on my wrist, you know. That's how start do.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
All right, Lagos, you are welcome back. For the purpose of this particular conversation, just so we get as much as we can from Mr. Yemi Shonaye, we're continuing this conversation. We ought to have, stepped down our conversation to other stuffs, but apologies, we have to continue this conversation. So this particular caller has been calling. Let me just let him speak. So we'll move on with you, Mr. Yemi. Hello, good evening to you. Good evening to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ben. I'm calling from Eba.
Mr. Ben, go ahead. Let's hear from you.
You are doing a very nice job. God will bless you.
I appreciate. Thank you.
You remember when this matter came up, you raised the topic immediately in your show. I told you that they will sell money. You asked me how I make. You remember that time I told you that they will sell money.
Yes.
Even myself, I didn't even think it this way. Commercial banks are selling this money. I'm telling you the truth. If you enter commercial bank, if you need 50,000 naira, they will ask you if you can part away with 3,000. They will give you 50,000 naira new notes. I'm telling you the truth. It is the commercial banks that will impede the process of this thing. They will impede it. It is the commercial bank. You know that Emefiele is from this sector, from commercial bank. Since he became central bank governor, he has been favoring these people. If they are doing party, It doesn't, during the time of Soludo, these people doesn't behave like this. They even sell dollars. People that buy black market open those ministerial accounts. When they went to withdraw their money, there is no money again. They have sold it to politicians. And this is what is going on now. This process will
my own money, my own dollar account. Somebody will not sell it. I'll leave this one. This one will not work, lie. Because I'll go to the bank and knock my hand on the table.
I'm telling you, my friend went there. He bought black market $6,000. He deposited with commercial bank. When he went to, so they gave him only $100, saying there is no money. This process will not. It will be against us, the masses. Okay, look at all these people they are catching now. They are selling money. It is commercial bank that is giving them money. And this process now, do we consider the blind in this process? A blind one that is living alone. You are telling him now to be doing transfer. How can he operate phone? He will give it to an enemy. Thinking the person will finish all his work. There are a lot of blind people who are doing well. They are millionaires. They will just carry phone, give to somebody. That's me, my neighbor. They will finish their money. This process will not. It will be against us. No matter whatever. The way we tend to forget that we are in Lagos, so things are working well in Lagos. Like Anduje said that Lagos State, that we don't do much of cash. That in their own place, they do much of cash. They do much of cash business and all. And the northern people said they don't have banks. They don't have banks. And look at what this man, Emefiele, said that he has recruited 30,000 agents and set them in the rural areas. Give them a huge amount of money. Can you imagine 30,000 people say that they will be giving people, exchanging new notes with people, collecting their old notes. One person will get about 10,000, 5,000, one person. Okay, tell me now, do investigating journalism, whether we have seen anybody that has collected this money from Emefiele among these 30,000. 30,000 is a very huge number of people. It is not a thing, so it is not 3 people, or it is not 3,000 people. 30,000 people. Emefiele is not playing on our intelligence. I'm not against this cashless society, but you can't just go. So if you want to plant a seed, if you want to farm, you go and plant a seed. Not when you go to somebody's farm, you uproot to come to your own farm and plant it. It will not work.
Thank you so much.
We are not mature for this process.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. God bless you.
You made a very, very key point, Mr. Yemi Shoneye. Did you hear everything? Did you think that the CBN did put into consideration the ably challenged in all of these policies? And what have they done to ensure that these people are incorporated, or what inclusivity did they make available whilst coming up with this policy?
Well, so if we are having challenge as urban city dwellers and able-bodied people, then so if we're having those challenges, then you can imagine that for rural dwellers and those that are physically challenged, that their own problems will be multiplied. Sometimes it's important to be diverse in your thoughts, so that the decisions that you arrive at will be inclusive. Meaning that you consult widely. So that appears not to have been done in this instance.
And this is so wrong. These people we have over 25 million people living in such conditions in Nigeria. And it's a huge negligence to not consider them, in policies like this. It just came across my mind. Thank you to the last caller.
Yeah, so I think to a very large extent we are not. I mean, even if our typical design of roads and some other infrastructure,
even facilities,
yeah, so we're not that inclusive in our thoughts, and I think that omission, as registered by that last caller, that omission is obvious in this case as well, and it's sad.
Yeah. All right, Lagos phone lines are open 0700-903-903-903. So before we went on break, Mr. Yemi, we said we're going to talk about the cashless economy. Are we ripe for it? Because right now it's hitting harder than he ever had, because these days people need to run transactions. I was telling Juliet before the break that I did almost all the transactions. I had to cook a pot of stew and other things this weekend with just transfers because I couldn't access cash, and I needed to have food at home. So even to the meat seller, to the pepper seller, I transfer to all of them, and that's a lot of cost on one hand. And secondly, peradventure I witnessed failed transaction, and that was the last money in my account. Viola, my kids and I would go hungry. What happens to the money? Because remember that the refund policy is always crazy in this country. So do you think we're ripe enough for cashless economy?
I think to a very large extent, we think that the moment we're able to download apps on our phone, log into internet banking, then we have gone fully digital, and we've embraced the cashless economy. But being able to use your bank mobile apps and the internet banking is just not enough. There are quite a number of things that comes within the ecosystem, the payments ecosystem, to enhance the cashless economy. So in other climes, you have situations whereby mobile money is thriving, and then people are able to make payments using their mobile phone accounts as their mobile phone numbers.
The mobile money thing.
Yeah, as their accounts. And that's been implemented in places like Kenya, in South Africa. Now we've licensed about 5 mobile money agents. 3 of the major telcos, are sponsors of those mobile money companies.
Have they kick-started? Have they started
yes,
operations?
Yes,
what's the awareness?
Yes, they've started, but the awareness is poor.
Okay.
The awareness is poor, and then in terms of even going out to the market and saying, this is what we have implemented, is also poor. So, I mean, as financially educated as I am, I can't say that, this is the rollout plan for, say, one of the telcos, for instance, in terms of, this is the stage where they are and these are the number of customers that they have acquired. Because those are, the telcos reach every nook and cranny of the country. And I think that's their outreach is something that we can leverage upon.
Absolutely.
To be able to make, to create what you call financial inclusivity. Everybody find it easy to use mobile phone. Even our elderly ones.
At least they can pick and drop calls.
Yeah, they can pick and drop calls. And even if you spend a little bit of time with them, they can start using smartphones. And then even without, so when you even talk of financial inclusivity, you don't need smartphones in most cases. There are instances where you can use USSD to settle transactions. And then you can also extend the mobile money ecosystem to what you call scanning of barcodes. With your smartphone, I'm sure there are some instances whereby you have to scan some barcodes to fill forms. Now, especially maybe with embassies and all those, you can scan barcodes and fill forms with it. In the same way, you can also scan barcodes and exchange value with someone. So,
like barter? Yeah. Like trade by barter?
It's pretty much like you collect cash, you collect goods from someone, and then you scan onto that person's barcode so that money is transferred into that person's platform from your own platform, and vice versa. And so you can also say, Juliet, you have cash. Juliet gives you, let's say, 5,000 cash, and then you scan barcodes across each other to transfer funds to each other. Now, those things are not happening here right now. Do we have the capacity to make it happen? Yes. Do we have companies that can make that happen in Nigeria? Yes. But why are we not doing it? The reason why we're not doing it is that there is a huge amount of enlightenment that is involved. And I think the CBN via regulation, the banks, the license operators like the telcos, they are not doing enough, to ensure that we go cashless. And I think the banks are pretty comfortable that you can keep on effecting transfers
because money stays with them alone
with your app. Yes, funds stays with them. You keep on transferring funds with your app because and they are benefiting from the kind of charges.
Because the charges is another thing. How do you think these charges are even sustainable? Do you think Nigerians can sustain the charges? Because if I want to buy things from like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people at a time in the market, and I have to transfer to all of them. That is me spending transfer charges to all of these people, and that's like almost 1,000 naira leaving.
Apart from individual charges, there are also monthly charges. Do you know? After some time, you just see like they remove like 50 naira from your account and say it's monthly charge for something that you don't even know about.
So, and you know that sometimes, you know, we had mentioned in this show that some of those charges are even illegal. And the CBN doesn't seem to have, they don't seem to be doing enough or putting enough punitive measures, if I have to say that, to the banks to ensure that they cut down on most of these, you know, illegal charges. So what is happening? Because this is like another, more like a conduit pipe to suck off Nigeria.
So when you have those illegitimate charges going on in people's accounts, what we really need is for the CBN to step up its supervisory role. There's a particular arm of CBN called banking supervision, and that banking supervision team, you know, really needs to step up in terms of, you know, monitoring that banks are not charging people unnecessarily. And there are a lot of complaints out there saying, you know, one, I'm being charged illegitimately. Apart from the fact that even the legitimate charges sometimes are prohibitive. So you find out instances whereby, you know, you do a transfer and then you're charged 25 naira. For some people, they would rather go and withdraw the cash from the ATM machines, and they would rather stay in their own bank to withdraw that cash because they don't want
to pay that 35 naira.
This 35 naira that you get charged after maybe the third time. Now, how many people even keep counts of how many times? It seems each time I walk to any bank's ATM that is other than my bank, now I get charged, whether it's the first time or the second time. I can't even tell.
Because you can't remember if it was the first, second, or third time.
So really, the charges are prohibitive. But then, beyond the fact that those charges are prohibitive, people are now having to face some issues like, you know, transactions that are not complete, or transactions whereby they've been debited and then, you know, value did not get to the other party, and those things are not reversed on time. Now, those things puts a number of people on the edge to say, should I really continue using a bank? I had to pay someone today, and the person said, sorry, I don't have a bank account. And I said, you can't tell me you don't have a bank account. I'm about to pay you 20,000 naira. You can't say you don't have a bank account. And the guy said, no, I have a problem with my bank account, so I know they use them again. So it means that, you know, the banking system is not giving people the confidence and the comfort enough for them to say, you know what, I trust that I can put my money within banks. And I think that even gives credence to the fact that a number of people still hold on to cash. And that is the consequence of you know, some of the policies that we're having today, that okay, yes, we say okay, use cashless, but then some people are saying no, I will not use it. So for that, they will keep on, you know, making a demand on the cash that is not available. So there's a whole lot beyond, you know, that the CBN or the regulators and the banks and, you know, anybody within the payments ecosystem needs to do to ensure that, you know, we embrace the cashless economy. One, make sure that there is, you know, a variety of products that is useful, you know, to different levels of people, from the educated to the non-educated, from the urban to the rural people. I mean, something must just fit at different levels. We shouldn't just think that, you know, there's this particular product which is the transfer that you and I are comfortable with, and think that it is a fit for all. You know, it is important to consider the fact that this will not work for this set of people. I mean, we're here, and then, you know, callers are talking about the non-inclusion of you know, people living with disabilities when it comes to some of these policies. I think in terms of our decision, in terms of our thoughts, we should be extremely considerate and be diverse in the kind of offerings that, you know, we are giving to the people. In terms of our readiness for cashless, we are not yet there. I think we're just making do with what we have for the moment, and, you know, it's not really working for us. It's failing us, and it is hurting the people. It's also hurting the economy, and I think there's a whole lot of room for improvement.
So you see, so what would say that did the CBN put the cart before the horse? Because all of these things should have been things that they would have put into consideration, ensure that they tighten every loophole, ensure that they were on the neck of the banks to make sure that they did the needful and incorporate as, you know, many means of banking as possible and transactions as possible before coming up with this. How do you just wake up and just... So what did the CBN do from the beginning to ensure that they. Okay.
I think there was too
Hmm.
much consideration for how much cash was outside the bank.
So that overwhelmed them.
So, well, it's pretty much not the stuff overwhelming them, but the fact that they're trying to say, there's so much cash outside,
which is not a bad motivation, though.
There's so much cash outside of the economy, and we want to throw in an element of surprise by saying, you know what, we want to give this thing a go, and we will ensure that this is solved within this few number of days. And it really hasn't worked, for us as a country. It hasn't worked for them, even though the CBN governor came out and said, oh, it's just to give us time to mop up the 900 billion. The reality is the fact that cash is not going around, and there is still huge demand for cash.
Would you say, okay, there are good intentions, but probably no good plans?
Yeah, the intention is laudable, but then we can see that if there was any plan at all, that plan has failed, or there was none. I think they had some.
But it wasn't well thought out.
I think they had some plans, but then just as you said, it wasn't well thought out. It wasn't a plan that was caged, in stone. It wasn't carved in stone.
Yeah.
So that plan, faltered, and it's led us to where we are right now. I hope that within the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that they're able to solve this problem, get cash across to the spectrum of the people that need the cash, from we people in the cities, to those living in the
rural areas. Yeah. All right, let's have Promise help us with some WhatsApp messages before we jump back on the telephone lines, because our phone lines have been buzzing non-stop. Promise, do we have messages?
All right, good evening, Precious. I have been relatively saved from these inconveniences via transfers, but I think they should devise ways of easing off the challenges on the innocent poor masses, as not everyone is IT savvy. Yeah.
That was
just what we're talking about now.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Simisola said, good evening, ladies, and thank you for the options you are offering at this time. I also bought Gary last week and paid via transfer. For the little shoppings, it would be expedient if CBN can stop pushing out the new notes, but give 100 to 50 and 20 denominations. It's obvious that the commercial banks officials are in cahoots with the politicians. Anyway, any transactions that will be substantial should be done via transfer or POS payments. On 4th of January, I bought palm oil by the roadside on the highway with transfer and sweet potatoes and all of that. So it's very doable. We need to cooperate with the CBN to get it right this time, and all patriotic citizens will be better with it. Simisola from Isolo said this, and
okay,
this person said, we are very unserious set of people. The new Naira note that isn't even available in the bank or at the ATM machines is being splashed at a party in the same January 2023. We are not ready. The sellers, the sprayers will be, when we are ready, the sellers, the sprayers will be made scapegoats. We honestly need a very serious discipline government. Help us in Nigeria, oh Lord. Someone was seen spraying new Naira notes in a party.
And is it the person that is spraying the money or the person that gave the person that is spraying?
I don't even know, but everybody.
How did the person get the
and also from Agege said, do you know that it was just yesterday I saw and handled just the new 200 Naira notes? Since the beginning of the new swapping, of the said swapping of the old notes for the new notes. In fact, I am in a state of stupor. I wonder how long it will take Nigerians to stand morally upright. As per the National Assembly, they are acting in their own interests. They are supposed to represent us, but they are for themselves. I won't tell you lie. I regret being born. This is too much. You said you
don't be regretting such things.
I'm not going to say this. Most of our leaders are devil in human skin. They want to do by all means to salvage Nigeria, but pretending for their selfish interests. I think he wanted to say there.
All right, so let's jump to the phone lines very quickly. Hello, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes.
This is Adeyemi from Ejibo.
Adeyemi, you're welcome. Very quickly, let's hear from you.
Yeah, okay. Well, say, okay, I like what the CBN is doing at the moment, but really we are not ready. Because I've heard a lot of messages. How are these people, I mean, the people spraying money, selling money at the parties, how are they getting it? Like, is it not someone in the bank that is giving them this money? How are they even getting? Because last week Saturday, I've been queuing for fuel for the past 3 weeks right now. Last week Saturday, I went to an MPC at Ejibo, and I got there around 5:30 a.m. in the morning, only for me to get fuel around 11, and we were told that they are not taking POS, transfer is not working. I had to walk like 30 to 45 minutes away from that place before I could get cash. So I don't think we're actually ready for this in this country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You see the frustration. So imagine queuing for fuel for a long time. You take 4 hours or 6 hours to queue to manage to buy fuel. Then it's your turn, you now buy it. So you take card and they say POS is not working. I say, let me do transfer. Sorry, you can't do transfer. Go and get me cash. And with the whole wahala that you have in queuing now for cash, then that means after queuing for your fuel, you now face another series of queue. So somebody said it took him 6 hours to access the money today on this show. Where do we go from here? Well, let's quickly jump on another call. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Abulado.
All right.
I'm Mazi.
Mazi, you're welcome. Go ahead very quickly. Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, my sister, I heard you say, ask if we're actually ready for the policy. Why won't us be ready for the policy? Are we no longer giant of Africa? You see, my sister, we've started this policy. Let us for their head. There is no harm in trial. Those saying that we have problems facing this policy. Yes, we know we have problems facing them. We will say we should stop the policy because of these problems. When are we going to start it? And if at all, at that time we start it, is there not going to be problems? So we must continue now. The only thing we need is to approach everything holistically. Let's talk up. Let us move. By the time we continue, we'll get to our destination.
All right, thank you so much.
You see, Nigeria should forget about them. What I expect they're supposed to be doing by now, they will not say they're not hearing people talking about the points where they sell all these currencies.
All right, thank you. I needed you to wrap up quick because time is against us, so we can wrap up the show. We're about to wrap up this segment.
Okay, let them go to those points with the back of and arrest these people. And not from the source they got this money they're selling. And from there they investigate the police whosoever that is behind all these things. It will be a very good starting for us. And by the grace of God, we'll go to our destination. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. And let's see if we can just take one more call and then we get your final thoughts, Mr. Yemi. Hello, good evening to you. Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Chinyere, calling from Mafodi.
Chinyere, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
My greeting to the guests.
Our guest can hear you.
Please, so one, the policy is okay.
Okay.
One, the policy is okay. Secondly, the House of Reps that are fighting, they are not fighting for us. They should fight for the charges. If they say they fight for, let them talk of the charges. Both the charges they're charging us, both communication aspect of it and the bank charges, the price is too much. Now, to talk of the people that, let me tell you, because I don't want to expose myself to people. For the bank issue, let me be sincere. The commercial banks, their money is a commercial bank. I'm telling you, the money is a commercial bank.
So you think these banks have the money? That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Are you a banker?
Yes. I don't want to tell. I don't want to tell you I am. I don't want.
Okay.
So the money is in commercial bank. What happened that maybe let me say by first. You understand? First of the next month, that kind of thing. The only thing that as of today, I want to tell you as of today, that's why some POS people they cannot transact or network, they are readjusting the machine based on the CBN instruction of how much they are going to be displaying at the end of the day, kind of thing. That is what is happening. But I want to tell you, if the commercial banks are giving those money to those people who are selling it out, the lots of them, I want to tell you. Please, I want you to help us to tell the House of Rep they should leave us alone. They are fighting for themselves so that they will use it for their own benefit. They should leave us. Anything that is work, we will suffer for it.
All right, thank you.
And let everybody have patience, please. It will work for us. Let us say I don't have any money. I'm talking to you. I don't have any money.
Thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. All right, very, very quickly. Simisola further said, please, I guess the bank's apps do have redundancy mode. At times when I have experienced difficulty doing transfer, I simply turn off my phone and then turn it on again, and it has never failed me. I have done that with different banks, and it worked for me. So I believe it is, it's a clue for people to work on, for those facing problems with, accessing their bank apps at some point. Let's hear your final thoughts, Mr. Yemi.
Well, so I think, the response we're seeing from a number of people is that there's no problem with the policy.
They like it.
So Nigerians are ready to embrace the policy. And I think when you get that kind of response from people, you ensure that you do everything to make sure that those that are on your side remain on your side, and you win over more people. Now, I think 2 weeks, 2 weeks to a very large extent is enough to sort out logistic issues. If in Nigeria we do have elections, and within a day or two we are able to move election materials across the 774 local governments, at least I would say at least 95% of the time, those things get to those areas, the hinterlands, then 2 weeks is enough to be able to move funds across the country. It is not going to be in abundance as it used to be, because you now have policies that reduces the amount of cash that is available to you as an individual, but then you should be able to get what is available to you. So I think it's important that CBN ensures that all that it said it will do, it does that to ensure that that cash is available. They are throwing CBN is throwing every power it has at this by saying that even they're sending out monitoring teams. Some of their directors will start going out to banks to monitor these things. So it's like you are actually pushing out a whole lot of resources to ensure that this is being done. CBN is appealing to security agencies like EFCC, ICPC. I didn't hear DSS. To go after people that are.
But the DSS actually did catch some people recently,
which is fantastic. To go after people that are sabotaging this effort. I think if everything is being thrown at this and sincerely being thrown at it, I think we see the issues that we have easing off before the deadline date. But if you still have these issues on the 8th of February, for instance, then there is a problem. So I'm expecting that we shouldn't have the kind of problem that we had or that we are having right now.
In the next couple of days,
come 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th of February, and it should be better for us all.
Thank you so much. This message says the hiccups in the new Naira circulation is due to the compromise of the commercial banks. The charges introduced by the financial minister is another clog in the wheel of this initiative progressing. The National Assembly should be disregarded. Mr. Yemi, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we're changing the conversation. Thankfully, it has to do with money, so we need you here in the studio. So we're looking at ways to identify Ponzi schemes, because it looks like the more we talk about this thing, the more Nigerians fall for it, because it's as if we have rich quick syndrome mentality in our country.
Everybody wants to blow.
So that people will be very careful about Ponzi schemes. Lagos, that's our next discussion. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
BOP 90.3 FM.
see tire for here, put am for in neck, go am. Yes, I no go find better work do. Na yahoo yahoo dem go dey do. Stop!
That person where you won't born, if it dey innocent, no go carry person blood put for your head. Don't